You want the lamp?
This is the Groundskeeper, a new character introduced to us in the new Doors update, The Outdoors. He can be found from the very beginning of the game and will be seen roaming around the area, not really doing anything to you. That is until you touch grass, a concept that most gamers are not very familiar with. All throughout the game, you can see some signs that are saying, do not set foot on the grass. But as long as you don't touch the grass, he really doesn't do much to you, so you don't have to worry about him. This is kind of an odd behavior. Why do I think it's odd? Well, because every other entity in the outdoors is trying to end your run, while the Groundskeeper is only trying to stop you from touching the grass. Why the grass specifically? Why not just stop you from being in the area altogether? Well, that is likely because the Groundskeeper used to be a human that was actually revived by the World Lotus, or a part of the World Lotus. I'll get into that in a bit. First, what is the World Lotus? Well, the World Lotus is an entity that's trying to stretch its vines all throughout the outdoors and is even inside the mines and the hotel. Knowing this, wouldn't it make more sense for the Groundskeeper to try to stop us from reaching the World Lotus? Well, yeah, but he doesn't. He does the opposite actually. Instead, he helps us. And I think I know why that is. If you look at every other enemy in the game, you can see that nearly all of them are corrupted by the vines. The eye stalk, the bramble, and the madrak. All of them have vines on them. And the ones who don't have any are most likely immune or still haven't succumbed to the vines themselves. You can actually see this with the monument, a creepy entity that will stalk you throughout the game when you're not looking, similar to that of a weeping angel. At what point you can actually see the vines attempting to make their way into the monument in order to corrupt it. This is why the Groundskeeper is trying to stop you from touching the grass. He knows that if you go into it, there's a high chance that you'll be corrupted by the vines and there's no way to bring you back. His helpful attitude and his hatred for the vines can actually be seen when you get attacked by a madrak. The Groundskeeper will always attack the entity instead of you, ripping the madrak from its vines and tossing its corpse aside because he doesn't really care about the madrak itself. He only cares about the vines that are around it. Yeah, like I said, it doesn't make sense for him to do this because he himself is made of vines, covered all over his skeleton. That is until we meet another NPC in the game that it kind of makes a bit more sense. That other NPC is called Grampy. Grampy is an NPC that you can meet in the halfway point of the game who has also been able to protect himself from the vines. How did he protect himself? Well, it's simple. He used lilacs. For some reason, lilacs stop the vines from spreading anywhere they're currently at. That means Grampy probably survived while everyone else passed away simply because he was living in an area that is covered in lilacs all over the place. Heck, he's even seen chewing one when you meet him and has a full basket of them on the side. Grampy seems to know a lot more about the vines and how they operate more than anyone else. So he's probably the reason the Groundskeeper is the way he is. He managed to collect 8 pink petals and bring it to Grampy. He'll actually give you something called a lotus flower. And what does this flower do? Well, it revives you. Grampy most likely used this same item to revive the Groundskeeper, and this is probably one of the reasons why the Groundskeeper is called Sunny. Not because it's its son, but because he's the one who revived him and made him a new person. Because if you look at the Groundskeeper eyes, you can see that he has 2 different eye shades. One fully bright and the other one dim. This would mean that the Groundskeeper has actually 2 entities living inside of it. One is the vine and one is the person that it used to be. They both merged to make the Groundskeeper himself. And it would make sense that Grampy would call him Sunny because most likely he's the one making sure that the Groundskeeper doesn't fully turn and get corrupted by the vines. He most likely uses lilacs to keep him in check. Because if you look at every other room, you can tell that the Groundskeeper outfit is in a bunch of them. Meaning that the Groundskeeper outfit is just probably the normal attire that everyone there used while they were maintaining it. And is that indicative of him being the only Groundskeeper there? There's probably dozens of Groundskeepers. That's why there was a bunch of houses that you can actually go through. I mean, you find a house basically every 5-6 areas. Meaning that this place was very, very popular with Groundskeepers. Which kind of doesn't make sense because, yeah, it's a big area, but like, how many Groundskeepers do you actually need to maintain it, right? So this leads me to the theory that the Groundskeeper is actually not the original person the skeleton had, but a new entity made. It would make more sense because that's probably why he hates the vines so much and he's not affected by it, because he was already corrupted by it once but was saved by Grampy. This is what drives him to eliminate all vines in the region And that's why he doesn't want you to touch the grass, because if you get corrupted, then he'll have to end you too. That's why once you get out of the grassy area, he just stops and looks at you. He doesn't do anything to you because he knows that you're not corrupted. He knows that in order to be corrupted, you have to be attached to the vines, because once the vines are cut off, you lose your connection to the vines itself, to the world lotus. Of course, this is just a theory. I'm not 100%. The story could update and we get more lore on the Groundskeeper himself. This is what I've been able to piece together from just looking at the game and playing it a bit here and there. If you guys liked my video, go ahead and leave a like, comment, whatever you guys want. If you guys want more videos like this, go ahead and leave a comment about it too. All right, thank you for watching. Bye.